But if you think about it, for 40 straight years, okay, that's dominating fundamentals. You'll probably notice that I would wager that the most successful originators probably have the lowest amount of followers on social media.
I think we live in such a day and age where everybody is trying to find a shortcut. And I just find that so interesting. And we can definitely, and I'm excited to talk through it today.
So if we were to talk to originators today, which hopefully they're listening, what I would say is one of the fundamentals they can implement starting tomorrow.
Matt Weaver, the #1 mortgage originator in the United States for most loans closed in 2023 and #1 in the state of Florida from 2020 to present, has spent over 27 years mastering the purchase market, earning more than 16 #1 titles across his career. Max Fisch, 2024's #1 originator in the United States under 30 and #2 in the state of Florida, achieved those titles within just 5 years of entering the mortgage industry, compressing decades of growth into a few extraordinary years. Collectively, they've helped more than 40,000 families purchase their first home. Now partners and looking to improve the industry on a national scale, Matt and Max share their winning formula, team structure, and systems with originators who want to scale from elite to extraordinary levels.
Matt, you know one of my favorite quotes, okay? And partially it's one of my favorites because I made it up, is right here. The definition of dominating: making the extraordinary feel ordinary over and over again. So Matt, we talk about this all the time. What separates the extraordinary from ordinary?
The basic fundamentals.
The fundamentals.
That's right.
And Michael Jordan spoke to that the best.
Yes.
He said that he focused on the smallest and in the most minute aspects of basketball, meaning in practice he would do chest passes over and over again because it wasn't just about I can bounce the ball and get it to somebody else. It was, I want to get it in the same exact location every single time. And this is a basic fundamental. It was the right hand dribble versus the left hand dribble. It was the things that you learn when you're 6 years old on the basketball court that somebody to Michael Jordan's level, one of the greatest of all time. Okay, said one of the greatest of all time because 100 the age.
They're easy now, easy.
Okay. But for all intents and purposes, the greatest of all time would do the same things that a 6-year-old is doing out on his basketball court.
That's right.
And I just find that so interesting. And we can definitely, and I'm excited to talk through it today, we can definitely apply it to what we do professionally.
Yeah, and if you see the most successful originators in our industry dominate with the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably notice that I would wager that the most successful originators probably have the lowest amount of followers on social media.
Mm.
Why? Because they're busy with the fundamentals. And it's not to say that social media is a bad thing. Okay, it's a necessary evil. All right, get your stuff out there. But if it's replacing the basic fundamentals, you're only kidding yourself. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so you spend a Tuesday morning shooting videos of yourself, and then you hit the post button, and you created your reel. Congratulations. Where on a Tuesday, I'm doing my status calls, and I'm speaking to both buy-side and list-side agents, okay, and I'm upselling them to one of our upcoming luncheons so they can learn more about my services and what we do differently and how we can help their clients even better than who is currently helping them. So if you think about it, who has more of a productive day? One has a few like buttons, but the other one has immediate action to meeting yet another real estate agent, okay, to come to one of our events, one of our luncheons, or meeting them one-on-one, okay? Yeah. We are still in a contact sport. Nothing beats human contact.
Now, do you think that people or originators avoid the fundamentals because they're boring?
They're boring. They're boring. My mentor, okay, Mike Ferry, he taught me, all right, the importance of overcoming repetitious boredom.
Huge.
That word, I'll never forget the first time I heard him say those words, repetitious boredom. I never heard him before. And he said, in order to be a superstar, you must overcome repetitious boredom. And if you look at any great athlete, any great performer, any great actor, actress, whatever it may be, they overcome and overcame repetitious boredom. All right. They embraced it. They understood. I mean, watch. I don't know. Michael Jackson just popped into my mind. One of the greatest pop artists of all time, at least by record sales, whatever happens, but at least by record sales. Okay. He was fanatical about rehearsing every single song for hours and days and hours and days, down to the word, down to the step. And yet he sold the most records.
Yep.
Is there any wonder there? Okay. So you can imagine singing. So I'll never forget it. I was flying back from Las Vegas, Nevada to Miami, Florida. And I'm sitting up in the front row. Gentleman comes and sits next to me. Okay. 6'4" guy. I thought he was an NBA player. So, of course, I was always taught to, when you sit in the front of the plane, first class, business class, whatever, the advantage is to try and talk to the person next to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can learn a little bit from them. That's what my mentor, Mike, had taught me.
Yeah. Is that why you talk to me so much when we're getting up there?
There you go. So he sits down, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so he's definitely a basketball player, so I'll learn a little bit about basketball. We take off, and I asked him, I said, well, what do you do? And he says to me, I'm the tour manager for Fleetwood Mac. I mean, talk about jackpot.
Yeah.
I mean, what a guy to sit next to. Number one, what an awesome guy he was. I'll never forget the conversation I had with him. But I said to him, Fleetwood Mac, I'm a big fan. Okay, they've done unbelievable work. And of course, he didn't want to get into too much detail, but I just asked him, Stevie Nicks, one of the best performers, one of the best singers in the marketplace, still to this day, her fan base is just extraordinary. But he reminded me how fanatical she was of rehearsing over and over and over again.
Yep.
Can you imagine, Max, singing the same song, practicing the same song for 40 plus years?
I'm only 31, so I can't imagine.
But if you think about it, for 40 straight years, okay, that's dominating fundamentals.
Oh, it's insane. And I have to tell you, Matt, I think we live in such a day and age where everybody is trying to find a shortcut. Let's bring it to what the actual root of this problem is. And I want to challenge originators in this, because everybody's trying to find a shortcut, whether that's weight loss, whether that's, I want to be a bodybuilder, whether that's sports, because what I think happens is, speaking of social media, I think that, everybody sees Michael Jordan and they see the dunks from the free throw line and they see, the game winning shots. But what they don't understand is what made him the greatest wasn't because he could dunk. It wasn't because that he could hit a mid-range jump shot. It was because of the smallest things on a basketball court that he just did better than everybody else.
Right.
And so when we talk about originations, the reason that our team has been able to scale at a high level is because we put such a huge emphasis, and it's easy to stray away every now and then, but we have to knock our heads on straight, because we put such an emphasis on the basic fundamentals of originating at a high level, but also people, the personal touch.
Right.
We're not finding shortcuts. We're not sending pre-recordings of things. We're making sure that we're talking to people. And all of these things are the fundamentals of our business that has helped us scale. It's not, you don't get to number one. And congrats, by the way, you're now 6 straight in the state of Florida.
Oh, thank you.
Which is awesome. We're going for 7 this year. But you don't get to number one because you discovered the algorithm on social media, or you created a YouTube channel. You get to number one by talking to people, picking up the phone, making calls. And all of these things aren't glamorous.
No.
But I would venture to say, and you tell me if you agree with me on this or not, fundamentals, the basic definition of fundamentals aren't glamorous.
No, they're not at all. And so if we were to talk to originators today, which hopefully they're listening, what I would say is one of the fundamentals they can implement starting tomorrow, okay, are the basic status calls. And we consider these on our team the basic chest pass. And what do we mean by a status call? Okay, file started, so loan originated. We call the buy side agent and the list side agent. Okay, out of underwriting, we call the buy side agent and the list side agent. Clear to close, buy side, list side. Funded, buy side, list side. Okay, new application for pre-approval. We call the agent to thank them. This here is something that we never compromise. We do it every single morning. All the rainmakers on the team do it every single morning. That's a basic fundamental. That can get very boring for some people, but there's no social media post that will have more impact than those basic status calls.
I think it's so important, and I really think that it's a gut check moment for a lot of originators, because you have to make a decision. You have to make an intentional decision that you are going to focus on the necessary fundamentals for your business to scale. And I think that's just, I think it's so important for originators here. So I really appreciate you sharing.
Wonderful. Let's continue winning.
Thank you, Matt.